Hey everyone, thanks for joining me in another Craftsman's Corner video. In general, I've just got a little short list here of things to ramble about, and I'm just going to go through them one by one, and I might come up with some stuff along the way that I say in addition. First thing on the list is where have I been? I get a lot of those questions anytime I do these little departures from YouTube for a month or so. Before I started posting this recent wave of videos, which has been the 16-foot table and then the series I'm working on right now on the knife, I've been really busy doing a lot of different things. Mostly it has to do with houses, real estate in general, and then doing a lot of engraving. I have sort of taken a slight break from table orders. They of course still come in. I've got stuff in stores, but I kind of toned that down a little bit to where I could focus on the houses that I'm working on. And some of this will be a repeat from other things I've talked about in the past, but I'm just kind of bringing it up again. I've always got new subscribers coming in and people that didn't see the answers to certain questions that I've sort of already answered in the past. So the house that I have at the end of the street from on the street that I live on, that's the big farmhouse. That one is sort of on hold while I'm dealing with a couple other houses, one being the house that I did the video on for that says it's the $5,000 house. So I get a lot of questions about both of those houses, where they're at. Well, the one that, the $5,000 house that I'm working on to sell, that one's pretty much done. I'm just doing some of the legal work that I needed to do before I can sell it. And then I'll get in there and just do a couple final touches. But I'm going to be going over there soon and doing a video kind of showing you what it looks like after that little cleanup, getting it ready to sell. And I do have some different people. I've shown it several times to different people that are interested in buying it. I'm just trying to find the right person because I'm probably going to do an owner financing deal on this house. And what I mean by that is I'll sell it, and instead of that person getting a loan through the bank, they'll basically get the loan through me, so they pay me a down payment, and then they would make payments to me with interest until they pay the house off. And you know, some people might not like the idea of that because that means you spread out the amounts you get, the time that you get the money in. But there's a lot of different advantages in doing something like that. One of the biggest reasons would be you make the interest off the loan itself. So depending on how much the final price is that you settle on with the buyer and what kind of down payment they have, then you make that interest. And when you do owner financing, that interest is going to be higher than a traditional lender would be. So right now I think the mortgage rates are like around 3% or in the 2s even if you have if you're a golden situation. But owner financing can be, you know, 6 to 10% depending on the situation. I guess it could be higher, it could be whatever you want it to be. A lot of times people want to seek owner financing because maybe they've maxed themselves out credit-wise and they wouldn't be able to get another loan through a traditional source. But then a person like myself can look at them and say, you know what, I can look at your situation and see that even though you've got all these loans out on this other stuff you're doing, that you could also handle this. And then, but you might say, but to make this worth my time and to where I don't have to take as big of a risk, or since I'm taking a big risk, I'm going to require a larger interest rate. So that's one reason. Another reason would be someone for the tax advantage of not taking in all that money at once. Someone who is sort of close enough to the next tax bracket might say, well, I don't want to be bumped up into the next tax bracket and take a bigger hit on it tax-wise. So by taking payments in, you're spreading the income out over years, and then of course with that interest, sometimes with you know, with certain loans, a lot of them, for those of you who own houses, you already know this, how much interest you're really paying on a large sum of money, like when you buy a house. So say you sell a house for $100,000, and you know you've got and you're got a loan for it, and you have interest. Factor that out and look at how much it is. You know, certain calculations that I'm doing on this particular house that I'm working on selling, and people telling me how much they could give me down and how much they can afford to pay a month, and then that's how you kind of know how long the loan would have to be. And then you put that interest in there, they're in some cases paying twice as much as the house is being sold for. So interest is a pretty serious thing, regardless of what end you're on. If you're on the receiving end of interest, it's good. if you're having to pay the interest, well, I don't want to say it's bad, but it is, there's a significant cost in it. So that was a lot more detailed than I was going to talk about. But I've got some other house stuff going on that has been in the works, and I haven't really talked about it yet, but you're going to see more about that real soon. I've already filmed the video about that upcoming real estate situation. You'll see more about that probably coming up later this week or the following week. Let's see. Also, I've been doing a lot of engraving. I've been putting that off for a really long time, really getting involved in it, learning how to where that could be a more consistent source of income for me. So I'm looking forward to, well, I've been looking forward to doing it, and I finally have been putting that time towards it. And I'm becoming more proficient now. What I'm doing right now is a lot of repetitive engraving. And I don't get into the details of what and show it a lot, even though that's something a lot of people are interested in, because the stuff that I'm engraving is for someone else that's selling it as a business. So I can't really get into showing it all since it has to do with what they're doing, and I can't really have it here on this because that's not really part of the whole thing. But in the future I've got some knife projects planned where I'm going to be engraving them, as well as some other projects, jewelry, furniture, all kinds of stuff. And when I get into that, I can kind of show you some of the end results of what I'm working on. Let's see, other things. Recently posted videos. I've done the 16-foot table and then the series on making my new knife. The 16-foot table, finally got that edited and put together. I actually built that table before I built the oak trestle table. And you can see in those shots the shop doors that I put in. I had to build my shop doors for those two tables, and I did a video on making the shop doors. I just haven't finished the video yet because I have to finish trimming around the doors and painting and get it all put together. Then I'll finalize that video and post that. That was a pretty interesting project, making the doors. I used the my Festool Domino XL 700 to build the doors, which really was handy. Had to cut the opening bigger in the walls. That was pretty fun. It was a big project, and it was a lot to add on to the fact that I still had to build the tables, but it's made the basement so much more pleasant. I have a galvanized duct in my basement, and there was a crack in the way the old door used to fit in, so you'd get a draft of air, and in the summertime you get a lot of warm air coming through that, and it would hit those cold ducts, and it would drip everywhere. I mean, it would just drip all over the place. And now that I've made these doors, I've got insulation tucked in around. They seal well with weather stripping and all kinds of stuff. They're just nice and tight. I don't even have, my duct's not even damp anymore, so that's really nice. Been a big change to the shop. Sounds like kind of a small thing, but right where it would drip the most is right where I do my engraving and a bunch of small metal parts. And a lot of it's stuff that I don't actually own, so I can't have water dripping on it. It's a $700 vise. Don't want water dripping on that either. So it's nice that that's taken care of now. Let's see. The knife series videos. I hope you all are enjoying that. I'd like to hear your input on that style video versus just doing one single video after the whole project's done. I think a video like that's kind of interesting as far as when I've watched other people do similar stuff, because you get to see that process of something being developed, a person's thoughts along the way, etc. But mainly just kind of seeing it come together. And it's kind of neat for me too, because I've got different things that I'm not sure of, and people are kind of giving me their input and giving me different ideas. And this is an area, a topic that I'm not defensive of in any way. Just kind of getting started making knives, enjoying myself, just doing it as a nice kind of break from the other things that I do. But still a topic that I think is interesting for my kind of YouTube channel. So you can let me know what you think about that, or if you have any ideas about the details of the knife itself. Let's see, next, my book. I've been working on it a little more lately. I was fooling around with my rough draft the other day and then noticed that it was basically 1 year after I wrote it, so that was like, really need to get this done. So it's been over a year since I've had that, actually printed off, and so I really do want to get that going soon because I get a lot of people asking me for it. This is sort of the part 2 of the first one, or the second in the series. It's going to be on marketing. I got a feeling my phone's going to ring in a second, so I'm going to turn the volume down. Got somebody supposed to be calling me. So it's going to be the working titles: How I Make Money Woodwork, or How I Make Money, an Intro to Marketing, or something like that. I can't think of it. Basically, it's a marketing book, and it's going to be based on my experience selling my farm tables and other things that I've done in the past too, and then just general information that isn't really specific towards farm tables or anything. I'm basically giving examples from what I do, but it can all be applied to other things as well, not just woodworking or farm tables or anything like that. Let's see. Future videos. I wrote down 2 things. I'm not sure why I wrote these 2 things down. It's just what kind of came to mind. I've got some different tool-related videos that I really want to make, either new tools that I have or tools that I've had for a while that I never did videos on. I get a lot of questions about tools, people that are getting started or people who are sort of stepping up their woodworking and need to know what would be the best tool for what they're doing, or just want to know what tool is it you're using, and I try to answer those the best I can, but I've got a lot of stuff, a lot of tools, and I don't always answer all those little questions. So be doing some more tool videos soon, I think. And then also I'd like to, and I know this is repeating something I've already said, is I'd like to do a series sort of like what I'm doing with these, with my knife video, but with furniture. So I want to pick a furniture project that I can really kind of pick apart, talk about it as I develop it, and then go into detail on each step and really draw it out. It'd be a lot of, probably hours worth of videos to equal to one project versus a 10-minute video like I normally would post 10 or 20 minutes of a full project. And the goal for this would be sort of more of like a classroom style thing where I am sort of teaching a class basically, and by stretching it out like that I would be able to take questions and then answer those in the following videos, or like do a video about a certain segment of the project and then follow that up with one where I answer those questions specifically. So it'd be like part 1 and part 2, and then or part 1A, and then go part 2A, that type of thing, and just kind of work my way through it. And so you can kind of let me know like what type of a project you'd like to see, whether it be just a regular woodworking project or a specific technique within woodworking. It doesn't have to be a full project, or it could just be a different thing in general. Maybe not to do with specifically woodworking. Maybe something different. Maybe something about designing furniture, something else. I don't know. I'm open to anything. But that's pretty much it on my list here. I think that's all. Currently, one thing I noticed the other day, I used to pay attention to it like really close, get super excited, but now I don't like focus on that as much as how many subscribers I have. But I noticed the other day I'd gone over 70,000, and wow, there's a lot of people that have way more subscribers that started their channels after I started mine and all that. I still think that that's pretty wild that 70,000 people at least have clicked that button saying they subscribe. Now, of course, I don't have 70,000 views on all my videos, but it is neat that it's got to 70,000 and that there's that following there. And for all you out there who watch my videos regularly and leave comments, I see that and I really appreciate it. And so I'm looking forward to sort of where the channel's going, and I do seem to keep getting busier and busier, which makes it harder to make these videos, but I'm going to try to find different sources of income related to what I'm doing that will make it possible for me to continue on. You'll have to forgive me, it's my air handler pumping out the water. I think that's happened before in a video. It's going to do some gurgling in a second. So y'all can tell me kind of what types of things you would like to see me do as far as more woodworking plans that I sell on my website, more books, what topics you'd like to see. If you'd like to maybe see like actual things for sale on my website that aren't digital products, whatever that may be. Or if there's additional topics that I've done videos on that you think would be good sort of income revenues, or things where you see an interest in. I'm basically open to anything as long as it's sort of in keeping with what I've been doing and of interest to me and y'all, of course. So I guess that's it. Thank you all for watching, and again, if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below. You can visit my website, thehomesteadcraftsman.com, and I'll see you in the next video.